All right. Thanks for joining us on the bright side. Once again, we're going to continue talking about connective tissue. We take a little bit of a different take on it here. I want to just finish up with the skin, first of all. One of the biggest problems we have with skincare is we don't distinguish the surface tissue from the connective tissue. The surface of the skin is only about as thick as a piece of notebook paper. The bulk of the skin underneath, the connective tissue area, is about 10 times as big or 9 times as big as the very tippy top surface. But when we treat our skin, when we want to get rid of our wrinkles or take care of our zits or cysts or whatever skin condition we may have, typically we only address the surface. We don't address the bottom, the connective tissue. But there are things that we can do to the surface that will indeed address the connective tissue and actually beef it up, make it more robust and thick. This is how alpha hydroxy acids work. Alpha hydroxy acids exert their well-known, well-researched, in the literature anyway, there's tons of stuff about alpha hydroxy acids for the skin. We've known about the importance for alpha hydroxy acids for the skin since the 1930s, 1940s, even in 1950s and 1960s. A lot of papers came out on how important alpha hydroxy acids were for beefing up connective tissue, putting it on the surface, but really getting connective tissue effects. By disrupting the surface, by disrupting skin cells on the surface, we can initiate connective tissue changes. This is so important, and in my opinion, everyone past the age of 30 or maybe 35 should be using an alpha hydroxy acid exfoliator once or twice a week. Glycolic acid is great. Lactic acid can work. You can use grape juice. You can use lemon juice. You can use milk, which has lactic acid in it. You can use wine. Get your Vitamix out, or get a Vitamix. Blend up an entire lemon. Just throw a lemon in with some water, including the seeds and the peels, the whole thing. The seeds and the peels are extremely good for your skin, very medicinal. And then the alpha hydroxy acids in the lemon can help stimulate connective tissue growth, stimulate collagen and all the juicy sugars that are located in the connective tissue, the polysaccharides. You could throw in a little honey. Honey's a good source of enzymes and B vitamins and lactic acid if you want to go all out. You can throw in some turmeric too. Throw in some aloe vera. Throw in a bit of meat tenderizer. Some what do they call that stuff? That papaya meat tenderizer, accent meat tenderizer. We used to use that on jellyfish stings when I was a kid. But that same kind of meat tenderizer will help exfoliate and soften the stratum corneum. You do it once or twice a month. You get a nice exfoliating effect and a nice collagen stimulating effect. When we think about aging, the saggy, loose look of elderly skin, what we're looking at, folks, is connective tissue breakdown and not enough build up. And by the way, this connective tissue breakdown that's occurring in the skin is also occurring in your blood vessels, because your blood vessels are made up of connective tissue. It's also occurring in your bone, because your bone is connective tissue. Connective tissue breaks down as a unit. So if you're getting wrinkles, your blood vessels are getting wrinkles too, and your bone is getting wrinkles too, and the fascia, the connective tissue that's wrapped around all of your organs, is getting wrinkles too. So you want to treat your wrinkles and your fine lines as your crow's feet, as not an enemy, but as your best friend, because it's pointing you to a connective tissue breakdown that could be shortening your life. And by the way, it's not just build up and break down when it comes to connective tissue defects. There's also diseases that can result in a connective tissue breakdown. It's not just aging. It's not just a deficiency in build up. It could be some kind of autoimmune disease. Connective tissue diseases often involve some kind of autoimmunity. Connective tissue is protein. And when the immune system becomes sensitized to a food protein, when it becomes sensitized to soy protein or to milk protein or to egg protein or whatever kind of protein it's become sensitized to, you run higher risks for an autoimmune disease of the connective tissue. Connective tissue protein looks like soy protein. It looks like bean protein. Connective tissue to the immune system, connective tissue protein is very similar to food protein. So when the immune system becomes sensitized to a specific food protein, it can also become sensitized to connective tissue proteins as well. Autoimmune diseases of the connective tissue, and all autoimmune disease really, need to be first and foremost addressed as food issues and as digestive issues. Simply fasting for a day or two is enough for you to notice improvement in connective tissue autoimmune disease or any connective tissue symptoms, pain, inflammation, and such. So blood vessels, too, that's also connective tissue. If you want to focus on one body system for anti-aging the circulatory system, or anti-aging the connective tissue, I should say, it's the circulatory system. Focus on circulation. Focus on blood. Focus on lymph, too. Lymph is super important. We don't talk about lymph anywhere near enough. I'll tell you what I mean when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. Our number is 855-660-4261. We'll be back right after this. So, connective tissue, we've been talking about how it's connective tissue as it regards the structure of the body, but the blood is also, the blood vessels and the blood itself is also a kind of connective tissue. Blood is considered liquid connective tissue. And then the vessels that channel the blood, that's also made up largely of connective tissue, and so is the lymph. And we don't talk anywhere near enough about the lymphatic system, lymphatic congestion, and circulatory congestion in general. And by the way, the lymph and the lymph and the blood are essentially the same system. They kind of merge. They're separated out from most of the body, but they merge in different parts of the body, and they kind of pull into each other. So it's all basically the same system. The lymphatic system and circulatory congestion in general will exacerbate any health challenge, and this is one of the major links to degenerative disease and early demise. Lymphatic congestion, that is stuff getting into the lymph and not getting pulled out. And this is one of the causes of hypertension, by the way, of high blood pressure. If you're on an antihypertensive, a beta blocker drug or a diuretic because your blood pressure is too high, it's, in a way, it's kind of ironic because your blood pressure builds up when the lymphatic system is congested, and then and the circulatory system is congested. This will cause pressure to build up, and then you take a blood pressure drug that slows down your heart and slows down the pressure even more. That's how these antihypertensive drugs work. They shut down the heart. Now, leaving aside the utter stupidity of a medical professional dispensing a drug that suppresses the heart, leaving that aside for a minute, if you have hypertension because your circulatory system is congested, and now you stop the pressure at the heart level which is pushing the blood through, that's going to cause more leakage, that's going to cause more congestion, and that's going to cause even more problems, and now you've only exacerbated things. If you're on an antihypertensive because your pressure is building up, because blood can't move through the crap that's piling up, and the lymph can't move because of crap that's piling up via leaky gut syndrome or digestive issues or food intolerances, now you've only exacerbated things. This is so important, this link between the lymphatic system and hypertension. And considering how toxic most of us are and how clogged up our lymph is, it makes perfect sense that 80 million Americans or more are going to have high blood pressure. Doctors have a great term for high blood pressure when they can't figure out the cause. They call it essential hypertension. And the vast majority of hypertension is said to be essential hypertension. So what does that word essential mean? It means doctors don't know what's causing it. Essential means we don't know why you have high blood pressure. Essential as in it's just basic. It's just part of the wiring. It's not basic. It's not part of the wiring or the plumbing. Essential hypertension means the blood is not moving correctly, and it happens for two reasons, and two reasons only. Actually, it happens for one reason. A body in distress. That's the only reason. We got to cut through the chase of this nonsense of our 12,800 different medical diagnoses and different diseases. No matter what you name your disease, it's a sign of the body in distress. The body is your baby, and your baby is crying. That's what it is. That's all degenerative disease is our baby is crying. And yes, we can take duct tape and wrap it around our baby's mouth, and that's what your antihypertensive does. It takes duct tape and wraps it around your baby's hypertensive mouth, your body's hypertensive mouth. But that's not, you may not have to listen to the baby crying. That's not going to help you. Hypertension and all degenerative disease is the manifestation of a body in distress, secondary to stuff getting into the body, into the blood that shouldn't be there. When fluids don't move around, because things are pooling up, doctors will call that fluid retention. And it's the first thing physicians treat when it comes to high blood pressure. They'll put you on a low-salt diet. It's more medical stupidity. Low-salt diet, please. And even worse, they'll dispense a diuretic which will force your body, compel your body to lose fluid as well as B vitamins and as well as the electrolytes and all the water-soluble nutrients. One of the worst things, if not the worst thing you can do to a body that's already in distress is give it more toxins that it has to process, and that's exactly what the medical model does via prescription medicine. That's what prescription medicine is all about. This is the dirty little secret of the drug business. The body has to process the drugs through the poison control system. And this is not part of the side effect profile of drugs. You know, you read about the side effect profile of drugs. That's bad enough. Every drug's got side effects. That's bad enough. But the little sneaky little secret that the drug companies don't talk about and that your doctor doesn't even know probably is that the body has to process the drugs through its poison control system. And this is a burden on the body that results in more toxicity in addition to side effects. The load on the liver, the load on the detox enzymes can exacerbate lymphatic congestion. And if we're unhealthy enough to be medicated in the first place, the lymph is usually going to be clogged anyway. Now you've got an added burden, which you may not even notice, even though eventually it's going to take its toll. The worst thing, I'm telling you guys, the worst thing you can ever do, and the sign of an ignorant medical professional, by the way, is to take an antihypertensive or to have a doctor dispense a hypertensive drug for high blood pressure. It is so stupid, it's beyond belief. You're shutting down your heart, number one. That's stupid enough. But then you're only going to clog things up more. You got more. The pumping action, the heart, which represents the pumping action, is now suppressed. That means less drainage of toxins. The body's a pressure system. If you stop the pressure at the heart level, that means less drainage of toxins. And because cells depend on pressure to be fed, cells are fed through the action of pushing, through the action of pressure from the liquid system, the blood and the lymph. That means less nutrition to the cells, and it means less oxygen as well. Less drainage of toxins, less pressure for food, for feeding a cell, and less oxygenation. That's what you get with an antihypertensive drug. Now, who thinks that's intelligent, doctors? Who thinks that makes any sense? The body is a pressure system. Its chemistry and its metabolism depends on pressure. Antihypertensives stop pressure at the heart level. Dumb. And that means cells aren't going to be fed, cells aren't going to be breathed, cells aren't going to be detoxified as effectively as they should. That means cells will become defective. That means cells will die. That will ultimately lead to a defensive response. Defensive response means immunity. It means inflammation. As the body attempts to clean up the mess and protect itself from the mess, of course, that means even more toxicity. And that's where you get your downward vicious spiral of degeneration and early demise. And your doctors are complicit. Now, you can use magnesium 2,000 milligrams a day for high blood pressure. Absolutely. You can use niacin, time release. You can use CoQ10, the Healthy Start Pack, the Mighty 90. They're all important. But as long as you got this toxicity going on, this lymphatic congestion, this blood pressure, circulatory system congestion, you're going to be dealing with high blood pressure. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're coming back with your phone calls right after this. 855-660-4261 is our number. Welcome back to The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for being here. 855-660-4261 is our number. We'll continue this discussion on lymphatic congestion. We haven't talked about this anywhere near enough considering how important it is. And circulatory system congestion as it regards connective tissue tomorrow as we continue talking about peptides and proteins, the importance of protein for building things, for building the body up. Protein deficiency is such an important factor when it comes to breakdown. And it should come as no surprise, by the way, that we're protein deficient. Protein's expensive. Protein breaks down easily. It doesn't preserve well. It doesn't lend itself to the mercenary economic food model. There's a reason why our economic food model is based in grains. Processed grains is that because processed grains can be stored and shipped and sit on shelves. It has a shelf life. Protein doesn't really have a shelf life. Good protein, anyway, doesn't really have a long shelf life, relatively speaking. Now, processed protein does. That's the problem with processed protein. You know, even whey is a processed protein. This is why you want to be so careful of your whey protein. This is why I talk about One World Whey so much, because it's such a nice protein. It's not easy to find a really high-quality whey protein. Don't go to Costco. Don't go to the supermarket to buy your whey protein. Be very careful about your whey protein. It's a little more expensive to get a quality protein, but you don't want to be skimping on protein. You don't want to be skimping on probiotics either. There's certain nutrients that you don't want to skimp on, probiotics and protein especially. Protein's so darn important. I would say protein deficiencies are one of the major reasons for our degenerative disease crisis that we're dealing with in this country. It's no accident that as we started to get more of our calories from grains 10,000 years ago, that's when really degenerative diseases started to kick in. especially the last couple hundred years when we really started to process and learn how to manipulate grains and sugars and high carbohydrate foods. Anyway, that's for another day. We'll continue talking about connective tissue tomorrow. Time to hit our phones, 855-660-4261. Dave in Michigan, welcome to the bright side. What's up, buddy?
Hi, Ben.
You're not Dave? Is that your middle name or something?
Right. I'm sorry. Well, actually, it's a friend of mine has an issue, and this is Dave's wife, Pam. Thank you so much for taking my call, and
Sure.
you have helped my family so much. I am so grateful to you.
I appreciate that. The information, though, not me. It's the information. I don't take credit
you
for
are
it.
better than any schooling that I've ever heard.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
You are awesome. Okay,
what's
my
going
friend
on?
is...
Well, no, you can tell me how awesome I am for a little bit, and then we'll go to... No, I'm just kidding.
You have cured my third-stage kidney disease. I have autoimmune system problem that's been going on, and you've taught me about the bone soup and everything. And
oh, good.
Yes,
that's awesome.
I have learned so much. And,
so what's going on? What's going on today? How can we help?
Okay, she's 37. She has IgA nephrology,
nephropathy.
Disease. Yes. And,
kidney disease.
Yes.
Okay. You want some help with that?
Please, they want her on chemo.
That's just silly. IgA is the shortened form for immunoglobulin A. Immunoglobulins are also known as antibodies. Antibodies, I love that term, antibodies. They fight bodies, except they don't fight your body. At times they do, but they're supposed to fight the enemy. IgA, there's 5 different antibodies. There's IgA, IgD, IgM. There's various ones. I forgot the different letters here, but in any case, there's 5 different antibodies. The most important one is IgA. The other ones, there are other ones, they're all important really, but the most important ones are IgA, IgD, E, G and M are different antibodies that are found in different parts of the body. But the reason I say IgA is so important, and probably the most important, is because that's the one that's found in the gut, it's found in the lungs, it's found in your tears, it's found in breast milk, it's found in the urinary tract. IgA is our main defense antibody for food. So if you have IgA nephropathy, by definition, you have a food problem. Period. End of story. IgA is an antibody that will combine, it will stick to problem foods or problem food substances, and then that combination of IgA and the food substance will circulate through the blood and hopefully get excreted. However, over time it starts to pile up because it gets overloaded. And then when it piles up, it starts to clog up the blood. The kidneys are your blood purifying system, and they're unbelievably made up of unbelievably tiny circulatory vessels, and over time, as these IgA food complexes build up in the blood, they can start to clog up the kidneys. That's what IgA nephropathy is, period. You don't need chemotherapy, people. I will guarantee you with 100% surety, Dave/Pam, if your friend goes on a 3-day fast, they will immediately notice an improvement in their IgA nephropathy. Now, you may have a hard time getting them to do a 3-day fast, but just theoretically, if they did, immediate improvement. Immediatamente, no doctor required, no drugs required, and certainly no toxic poisons like chemotherapy required. More fundamentally, for the long term, your friend has to focus on digestive health and wellness. I know you guys are probably saying, not more digestive health and wellness, not more digestive strategies. I can't help it. This is the core of disease. IgA nephropathy screams digestive problems. Do you know this person well, Pam? Did you say your name was Pam?
I just met her, and I told her that my kidney disease was cured by you.
Not me. Not me. The information.
Your advice.
I'm not John of God. I'm just a pharmacist.
And so I invited her over, and I gave her Dead Doctors Don't Lie tape and showed her, what we take, and I told her I'd call you.
Okay, well, food, number one. Focus on food intolerances. She's got to have long-standing digestive problems. Correct those immediately. That means probiotics. Get on the Biolumin Nightly Essence. That means liquid nutrients, because she's probably malnourished from her long-term digestive issues. The BTT is extremely helpful in this regard. Anything she could do to help open up the blood and move the blood along is going to help. Getting on a rebounder will help. Magnesium, 2 to 3,000 milligrams a day. Magnesium glycinate. The Healthy Start Pack is just a must for everybody. Essential fatty acids are very important. Digestive enzymes after all meals, and digestive enzymes on an empty stomach. Digestive enzymes have a nice blood thinning effect. That's how you want to look at moving the circulatory system around and correcting digestive problems. That's how you deal with kidney issues, especially IgA issues, immunoglobulin issues. She's got an immune problem. She's got a circulatory problem. Focus on the digestive system. And one more thing, and then focus on moving the blood around. Even something like oxygenation can be very, very important. Practice deep breathing techniques. I'm sorry, go ahead, ma'am.
Well, the digestive enzymes, before or after? I suggest...
Doesn't really matter. It does, as long as they're in there when you got the food. You know, if you take them at the beginning of your meal, at the end, it's not too much of a difference. But if you take them on an empty stomach, they can have even more blood thinning effects. If you take them with your food, they'll have digestive system effects, and that's good. They'll help you process food. And sometimes just enzymes will help you eliminate food intolerances. So, and use apple cider vinegar, by the way, with your enzymes. But on an empty stomach, they can have blood thinning effects. They can help break up clogs in the blood and in the lymph.
Okay, I got that. You talked to Dave a couple weeks ago, and he was suggesting the bioalternative.net for the colostrum.
Okay.
Yeah, you had wanted to know about that, and I was supposed to send you an email. I shot it out today. Sorry it took so long.
No problem. I'll check my email as soon as I get off the air.
All right. Thank you so much. You are so great.
God bless you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. God bless. All right. Moving on. Let's see if we can take a call here before we get to our break here. Lori in California. Welcome to the bright side. What's up?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear my name. Pharmacist Ben, my name's Lori, and I have a very similar question to that prior call. I have glomerular nephritis, and I'm probably killing the verbiage.
That's a tongue twister.
I take the Cinepro, 20 milligrams once a day, and I'm wondering if I could drop that and what you'd recommend.
Hang tight. I'll talk to you about lisinopril and glomerular nephritis when we come back from our break. Hang tight, Lori. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this. All right, we're back on The Bright Side, talking about the glomerular nephritis. Who we got here? Lori, California. Lori, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so glomerulus, very simple to say, even though it's a tongue twister when you look at it. Actually, it means ball of thread. It's a Latin term for miniature ball of thread, because if you look at the glomerulus, it looks like a ball of thread, except the thread is made up of blood vessels, and the blood vessels act like a spaghetti strainer, or the glomerulus, I should say. The whole unit acts like a spaghetti strainer, cleaning out the blood. However, when the blood becomes toxic, when the blood accumulates toxicity, when there's stress in the body and hypertension, high blood pressure, when there is blood sugar issues, which can damage the blood vessels, you're going to run into pressure problems. You're going to run into filtering problems. The medical model, the lisinopril that you're taking, slows down the pressure or reduces the pressure. That's how it works. It chemically poisons, literally, the cells of the kidney to make less chemicals, so they make less pressure chemicals, less high blood pressure chemicals, something called angiotensin. That's how lisinopril works. It's an angio, means blood vessels, angio. Tensin means tension or pressure. It's an angiotensin inhibitor. That's what they call it. Angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitor, technically. But in any case, they're slowing down the pressure in order to prevent the kidneys from being damaged. What you want to do, Lori, is like I was saying to the last caller, you want to figure out, why is your blood toxic? What is putting the stress in your body? And are you pre-diabetic or diabetic? So there's 3 strategies for you. Number 1, focus on food toxins and food allergies, stuff getting into the blood that shouldn't be there. Move the circulatory system around by getting on a rebounder, doing an exercise bike, or taking brisk walks. A sedentary lifestyle is a great way to mess up your blood pressure. So move your body around. Number 1, focus on digestive system. Number 2, move your body around. Number 3, take supplements that will help improve blood supply and help improve the body, the health of the blood. Magnesium, very important. The biolumin nightly essence, very important. Digestive enzymes, these are all the things we just talked about. The B complex, super important for the blood, especially niacin. I'd be on 200 milligrams a day of time to release niacin. Oxygenation is very important, making sure you're using your deep breathing techniques. And last but most certainly not least, please make sure you're controlling your blood sugar by using more protein, not willpower, using more protein throughout the day. As long as you don't have an allergy to whey protein, it's the best. Egg protein is also good. Meat is not quite as good because you got to deal with all the stuff that's in meat. But if you want meat, that's, at least that's a source of protein. The best way to reduce your blood sugar, you guys, and by the way, Lori, glomerular nephritis, all kidney diseases are signs of blood sugar problems. The best way to lower your blood sugar, reduce your blood sugar concentration, is to eat more protein. And also drinking water drinking a lot of water throughout the day can help, always making sure you're using your Beyond Tangy Tangerine. You have so many strategies here, Lori. There's no need for prescription drugs. These are all ways that you can get yourself off that ACE inhibitor, that lisinopril, and also help your kidneys too. Is that helpful, ma'am?
Yeah, I've got a couple other questions.
Sure.
Is it possible to have high blood sugar without it ever showing up anywhere? Because I don't have that result.
Well, you don't know. How do you know? On your panels and stuff? On your blood tests? Yes,
and
absolutely.
I've been doing this since
Absolutely.
every 6 months for
absolutely. High blood pressure occurs on a continuum. It's not like a switch. It's not like one. Yeah, go ahead.
I was asking about high blood sugar.
I'm sorry. That's what I meant to say. High blood sugar occurs on a continuum. It's not like there's one switch and all of a sudden you have high blood sugar. It occurs gradually. The marker for high blood sugar in doctor talk is 120 milligrams of sugar per deciliter of blood. But at 119, you still got a problem. 118, you still got a problem. So you can't go by the test. You got to go by the effects in the body. And it's very rare.
Also,
it's very rare that you're going to have a kidney problem without a blood sugar problem, and almost everybody has blood sugar problems. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, here's what I was told, just so you have a little backdrop, and maybe this is all false, but I'm a marathon runner. I'm a vegan. I do everything in my power to, maintain a healthy environment for my kidneys, including yoga.
Marathon running puts a major stress on the body. This is not a healthy thing to do, marathon running, unless you're doing all the parameters. You're putting a big time burden on the body. Big time burden on the body with marathon running. Marathon running is not a healthy thing to do. Well, let me just be very clear here. When you exercise, you want to exercise in quick bursts, and you want to make sure that you're replacing those nutrients. Marathon running without replacing nutrients can put a tremendous load on the body. It's not in your interest. So you got to be very careful about what you... And same with being on a vegan diet. I don't mean to interrupt you, but same with being on a vegan diet. A vegan diet is high in sugar, and that's disaster for the kidney. So you may almost certainly have some kind of a blood sugar problem, and you almost certainly have been putting a burden on your body. Be kind to your body, Lori. Love your body.
I do take the Rebound, so that's good, and that's helpful. I take the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and I just recently started doing the Osteo FX. So
those are all good. I'm more concerned.
And all the other things. Okay, yes.
I'd be more concerned with the burden on the body through the blood sugar system, as well as digestive toxicity. And you got to.
One other thing I was told through 2 different nephrologists is low protein diet.
Well, I'm not going to get into the silliness that doctors talk about. I'm not going to get into that. But it's true that the kidneys are going to process that protein, so you're going to put a burden on the kidneys if you don't take care of the kidneys. But that's not a reason to deprive yourself of protein. In fact, that's more stupidity. Stupidity.
Okay,
so you are going to put a load on the kidneys, though, and you do have to make sure that you're taking care of your kidneys on all of these other fronts. However, you do need the protein. It's absolutely vital for the building process and to keep you from munching on the sugar, and that means bread and sweet vegetables, etc.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
God bless. Good luck with everything. I cannot believe doctors say that. Low protein. I know they do, but all right. Robert in Texas, what's up? Welcome to the bright side. Robert, going once.
Oh, yes, sir.
Hey,
yes,
what's
sir.
up?
I was wanting to ask you something. You didn't ever talk about testosterone and estrogen.
Yes. What do you want to know?
Yeah, I just want to know, how do you build it back up?
Okay. That's a good question. Testosterone and estrogen live in balance. Now, they go by the generic terms or the common terms, male hormone and female hormone, but that's not really very accurate. Testosterone is more of a building hormone, and estrogen is more of a stress hormone. So these two things live in balance. The more body fat you're carrying, the more estrogen you're going to be producing, and the less testosterone effects you're going to have. So the number one way to up your testosterone is to lose the body fat. That's the first thing you want to do. The second thing you want to do is you want to resensitize your body to insulin. These are two, and these don't even, we're not even talking about the hormones directly here. Losing body fat and helping your resensitizing your body to insulin are the two of the most important strategies for beefing up male hormone effects. And you will find that associated with low T, so-called low T, and by the way, the literature on testosterone replacement is not good. There's a lot of negative stuff coming out about testosterone replacement, which is understandable because you don't want to screw around with your hormones medically. So first and foremost, losing body fat. You'll notice that everybody who's dealing with low T is carrying around a lot of body fat. You'll also notice that everybody with low T is also insulin resistant. So you need to resensitize the body to insulin by reducing caloric intake and upping your protein. Those are the two most important things to do in addition to losing body fat, and that'll help you lose body fat also. Caloric restriction, eating less food, intermittent fasting also is a great strategy for building testosterone. And bodybuilders, listen up. If you're a bodybuilder, weightlifter, athlete, intermittent fasting is an awesome way to build muscle. And the more muscle you're carrying, the more male hormone you're going to be making as well. So caloric restriction, intermittent fasting, reducing your blood sugar and reducing your intake of sugars to resensitize that insulin, resensitize your body to insulin, and lowering your body fat. Those are the most important strategies, in my opinion, for helping boost testosterone levels. There's also building nutrients that you want to take. Testosterone, remember, is a building substance. The body is always either built in net building mode or net breakdown mode. If you're low T, you're in net breakdown mode. Your body's beginning to break down. We want to reverse that. Losing body fat's important, and reducing blood sugar is also important, and reducing calories is important, but then there's great supplements for building testosterone, for turning on the anabolic system. Protein, for sure, whey protein, the best. Egg protein is good too for building. Zinc is your major anabolic, major building mineral. Everybody who's interested in building tissue should be on, and that's all of us, should be on 50 milligrams a day of zinc picolinate with vitamin A. Vitamin A and zinc work together. Vitamin A is the most important of the building vitamins. So your most important building mineral is zinc. Your most important building vitamin is vitamin A. 20,000 international units a day of vitamin A. And then make sure you're on the Healthy Start Pack as well. Make sure you're using the Beyond Tangy Tangerine all day long, sipping on it all day long. Make sure you're getting your essential fatty acids, the ultimate EFAs. Again, the EFAs are majorly building. You can't make protein without fat. That is nutritional fat. That is good fat. So getting on the ultimate EFAs is also a very important strategy. These are all ways that you can build your testosterone up without resorting to hormone replacement, which is never a good idea. You don't want to be pharmacologically manipulating your hormones if you don't have to. All right, there's so much more to talk about, but that's all we got time for today. Tomorrow we'll continue talking about connective tissue. I'm sorry if we left you on hold. Call back tomorrow and tell our call screener that we left you on hold. We'll get you first up tomorrow on the bright side. All right, check out my blog, pharmacistben.com. Check out my website, brightsideben.com. And we will talk to you tomorrow. Have a wonderful, awesome, beautiful day. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Bye for now.